At this time, I would like to call to order the Tewksbury Finance Committee meeting for February 1, 2021. Continue our budget reviews. So first up, did you say treasurer, collector, budget, Rich?
The treasurer's budgets. So before Kelly goes into her budget, Kelly Odom's the treasurer collector. One of the changes that I want to note in her salary account is an upgrade of her position from a 10 to 11. You'll see that same thing for the next couple of budgets. As I mentioned last week, certain positions were created in grade 10, and her position was one of them, based on the comparison of other communities, the additional workload from things like the RECC coming on board. So I just want to note that before Kelly goes into the general overview of her budget. So with that, I'll hand it over.
Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me, or is that my background noise? Hold on.
I can hear you, but that still may be your background noise.
Disable. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, that might be a little better. So I'm basically level funding, the same as previous years. There hasn't really been changes. All of the stuff has been included just for my mostly new staff. They're just getting the step increases for the year.
Sorry to interrupt. Can we have everybody go on mute, maybe? I'm still getting noise.
That seems a lot better. Okay. Yeah, so I have basically a level funded budget. And I basically have a new staff, and everyone's pretty much just going to take the next step increase as far as the salaries go. I still have my part-time previous assistant treasurer. We have her just in case as new processes come in that my present assistant is not familiar with. She's actually able to come back and assist us with that process so that she gets a better handle on it as she's learning. So we have her budgeted for a little longer to stay on with us. As far as the rest of the items, everything else has been pretty much level funded. I don't have anything new to add from last year's budget. Any questions? Anybody?
Okay. I'll open it up for questions now. Dave, do you have any questions?
No, this was straightforward, Mr. Chairman. I have no questions.
Okay. Rich?
Yes, I wanted to ask two questions. If you could skip over to the, where is it? The tab that has the worksheet that has the, I think it's called Munis, where it goes up 3% every year.
That's on the accounting.
Yeah, that's not it.
Oh, that's not yours?
Not yet. No, I think that's accounting.
Okay. My bad. Okay, then can we skip over to the travel budget then? Is that you?
Yes. Okay.
So, question is with, one thing we've learned with the COVID is that we're able to Zoom into a lot of these things. A, what are the odds of these meetings happening? And B, when did they happen? And C, is it possible to Zoom into it or
I can't hear Rich.
So I really don't know what to expect for this year. We just budgeted for it as if things would possibly return to normal. This is an annual school that I've had to attend to maintain my certifications. And I've put that in there with the hopes that if it doesn't happen, that my association with the Mass Treasurer Collectors will have the ability to do online conferencing.
Okay, so this is part, you've answered my question, thank you. This is part of, you have to go to this to maintain your certification.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Is everybody on mute still? I can't tell. Hello.
I think I lost connection for a bit there.
You did, Rob.
So where are we? Rich, did you ask your question? Did they get answered? I don't know.
He did.
Yes, I did. I'm all set.
Okay. Let's see. Susan, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. I'm good as well. Thank you, Kelly.
Sure thing. Thank you.
So Rob, why don't we quickly do treasurer unclassified? These are pretty straightforward also.
Okay, let me find that one. There we go.
Okay, so this is just the debt budget that the treasurer's office administers. It has to do with our exempt and non-exempt debt that we owe for principal and interest on our bonds. The only difference this year under principal non-exempt, I have a budget in there of $650,000 in the hopes of borrowing funds next October for the first phase of the new DPW/school maintenance facility. So funds are there for that debt service. We will not spend those funds unless we know we've met all of our financial projections in regard to state aid. Close of the fiscal year looks strong, no issues because of the pandemic. So the money's in there right now, and hopefully it can stay there. The rest of the budget, with the exception of debt, includes the Middlesex retirement assessment. This is based on the valuation studies that Middlesex Retirement does for employee retirement. It's going up a little over 4% for both the town and the school. And again, this is based on their assessment to us. Medicare tax is a function of our payroll. Based on what our payroll is, we budget for what we predict the tax to be. It's 0.145% of our overall payroll. And then finally, other post-employment benefits. This is our OPEB liability that we set funds aside to go into our OPEB trust. This has been the same for quite some time at $650,000. And that's the unclassifieds.
Okay, open up for questions. Dave?
No questions. This is fairly cut and dried, as Richard mentioned.
Okay, Rich?
Nothing from me, thank you.
Okay, Susan?
No, thank you.
Okay. My one question is about the other post-employment benefits. This isn't the year to increase it or anything, but we always say we want to make that a little more if we could. What would be the ideal if there is such a thing?
Well, the outstanding unfunded liability is around $82 million. I think the recommended and required, or what they would recommend for a payment on an annual basis is between $2 and $3 million a year, which would be difficult to meet. I think maintaining the 650 for now, especially under the current financial conditions we're in, if we, I think one of the things they would like to see us do is develop a policy adopted by the selectmen and the finance committee that we're committed to maintaining this amount in the appropriation, which I think the rating agencies would like to see. And remember, in addition to this, we have another $160,000 or more in the enterprise funds that go towards OPEB. So we've done a good job of addressing it. Could we do more? Absolutely. But I think as we hopefully pay down our retirement unfunded liability, we can start moving money over to OPEB. But right now, this is adequate. And if financial times get better over the next few years, maybe it can get increased.
Okay. I mean, the level that we're at now doesn't put the bond rating or anything at risk like that.
No, they always tell us they would like to see more, but it's understandable that we can't. And remember, we've only been putting it in the budget for the last 3 or 4 years. So I think once they see a few more years under our belt, they'll be happy.
Okay. Thanks. So yeah, I think we're good with this one.
Okay. Move on to the town accountant.
Steve.
Which one?
Town accountant.
Town account. Okay.
Good evening. Just as the treasurer has done with hers, we also are pretty much level funded. Our only changes are in regular salary due to the increase Richard talked about earlier, as well as steps for my 2 staff members and our the assistant town accountant gets her 5-year longevity this month, so she'll have a full longevity. The only other change is the 3% annual 3% on our software program. Any questions?
Okay, we'll open up for questions. Dave?
Just a question on your narrative. You had a couple of small unfunded priorities. I wonder if you and Richard have worked out getting them funded. One was
those really, I think we probably would have enough this for it because of the change in regarding travel. And our annual meeting this year, they did just this week throw together a Zoom meeting. They'd rather have it at UMass, but they can't. I need it for certification. We're also trying to get the assistant certified. And we also, our staff, our senior accountant can learn a lot about the accounting to advance herself as well through that program. The Reimbursements one, we'll use that for, and they hopefully will have a Zoom one this year, and that'd be a one-time expense. And as far as the other hard drive issue, Jamie may be able to just upgrade it. It won't be a cost. And even again, because of the COVID, we may be able to take from the travel cost or staff development to cover it.
Yeah, that was the only questions I had.
Okay, Rich?
Yeah, I had a question on the Munis software.
Mm-hmm.
So that goes up 3% a year. Is there any way how long is that contract in place for? I guess I'm asking. And if
Right now, we just renew annually. It just auto renews.
so, if I'm wondering if there's any way of
Moving to another software.
no, absolutely. No. Prepaying early, giving us an advantage, a little less.
So this it's not a contract that has a finite number on it. It's our annual maintenance and service fee with them because they house our software off-site. It's not something that, we're paying over a 5 or 6 year period. This is every year as long as we use them as our vendor.
Okay, so this is the archive, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I guess you would say that. Yeah. So that as long as they're providing us the service, we're going to pay them. The only way to get out of it is if we wanted to switch over to another financial vendor, which is very limited in the municipal world.
Yeah, I hope I didn't blow any, I hope I didn't give anybody an aneurysm even. The other question I'll ask, similar to the other accounts, is travel. Is this something that's required for certifications? And can we?
Yeah, I have to have it to keep my certification. And we also are working to have the assistant certified, so she has to continue to go to the courses every year to lead up towards her testing. And then once she tests and pass, she'd have to also continue with the education program to be able to keep the certification.
But right now, we don't know if there's going to be a summer or a fall one.
Right, we don't know at this point. They try to do them, and like I said, for this annual one, which is the biggest, that is usually in March, they just threw together a Zoom for this year in hopes that at least they can keep people online with it. Because last year they had a hard time even getting the Zoom together, so I don't know where they're headed as far as that goes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Susan? Any questions on the accounting budget?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Jason, do you have any questions on the accounting?
No, sir.
All right. And I'm fine as well.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, jump to the assessor's budget.
All right, find that. Here we go. Okay.
So my budget salary increases were the grade increase, and then each one of my employees, staff members also gets a step increase for the year, and I do have one person who partway through the year reaches their first longevity. And other than that, everything else just went up the step increases. And then my main real increases come with my operating budget. We are in the midst of upgrading to the same software, but the latest version, which is a cloud-based software. And so the prices now reflect the new software and the maintenance fee to have it on the cloud, hosted on the cloud, which actually is going to be very beneficial to us because we had trouble with one of our servers not too long ago. So this will be a great thing for us. The other additional piece to the operating budget that increased is due to some recent appellate tax board cases. We now are valuing our utilities differently. So instead of them self-reporting their net book value, we now have to hire a contractor basically to perform the analysis of all the utility companies, which is the $6,000 cost you'll see under RRC prices. And other than that, everything else was basically level funded with a few additions because we were sending out more mailings and things like that, but minimal.
Okay, thank you. Dave, do you have any questions?
First, a comment. Just I applaud you for going to a cloud-based solution. I think that's fantastic. That's where a lot of the industry is heading. So good for you. The second point I wanted to ask was related to on your unfunded priorities on your narrative. One of them was about allocating money to perform personal property audits on large accounts. where have you and Richard landed on that? Because that sounds like an opportunity to grow some revenue.
So we're actually in the midst of executing our first one to give it a trial to see how it runs, and just to get an idea of price range and things like that. Richard had asked me to get a couple of quotes on it. So I'm still working with a couple of different vendors to see, because there aren't a lot of people who will perform personal property audits. So once we have a better idea of the price range, I think we'll be able to move forward with probably doing these on an annual basis.
Do you have a ballpark range which they run in, not an exact number?
So it depends upon the value of the property, of the account. So I would say somewhere between, because you wouldn't perform them on the small account, so I would say somewhere around $1,500 to $2,000 an account.
Okay. Well, that sounds like an intriguing opportunity. So I definitely support that. Did you get the service agreement for $1,488 for that unit that you were looking, that you didn't want to have to fix yourself?
We have not yet executed a maintenance program with them yet, but so far the machine's running great.
Until it's not. That's all I had, but thank you. That's great, going to the cloud. Good for you.
Okay, Rich, any questions?
One, I think it's great that in the FY 2020 budget, we budgeted $2,094 and only expended $1,495. Was that due to COVID-related issues?
I'm sorry, you cut in and out on me, so I didn't quite hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. On your travel worksheet, I noticed in FY 2020 you were budgeted 2094 and you expended 1495. Was that due to COVID?
So it was due to, yes, it was due to COVID. It was for a couple of reasons. One, because we were unable to attend conferences. We too have certifications, myself and the assistant in the office have certifications that we need to maintain. And so we were unable to attend those courses. But I also have a part-time property review position that right now is still unfilled. We had a person who left and then COVID hit, and it really wasn't a wise thing for us to bring somebody in, because you can't do, it was very difficult to do property visits. It also cut back myself and the assistant going out and doing property visits to around town. So that's part of the reason that the travel budget is so low.
Okay, that's all I have. And I also applaud you for going to the cloud. That's where everyone's headed.
All right, thanks, Rich. Susan, do you have any questions on the assessor's budget?
No.
Jason, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, and I'm good too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, want to go to facilities and grounds?
Sure. Let's see. Yeah, facilities and grounds. Here we are.
Okay. So I'll run through this budget. Vinnie Bomo's here, Facilities and Grounds Director. He can answer any specific questions you guys may have, but I think this is his first time in front of the Finance Committee, so I'll walk through the budget quickly and he can go through anything that you may have for questions. So from a salary standpoint, the staff's level funded, you do have a decrease because we have hired someone to replace someone who was making more, a higher salary. So that's why you see a decrease in the salary budget. Energy and so the salary accounts, other than that, are level funded. Under operating, energy and utilities is level funded. This is for the all of the utilities down at the parks on Livingston Street, the two buildings, as well as any utilities around the facility. Repairs and maintenance, this is kind of a catch-all budget for the facilities and grounds for all of the buildings we have in town. Each department does budget for their own building maintenance. Anything unique that comes up or anything beyond what they budget for their normal maintenance, we would go to this budget that is in facilities and maintenance. We haven't gotten to the point where we want to centralize all of the costs. Right now, it's made sense to have each department budget for its building maintenance just to get an idea of what the cost for that department is on an annual basis. So this budget really is a catch-all for anything above and beyond normal maintenance. Leases and contracts. This is where we budget for our mowing contract that we have with a private contractor to mow all of our fields and our islands. This is where we budget for fertilizing of the town fields, the town hall, town common, Wamasett Park, mulch for the town hall, Wamasett Park, and the town annex on an annual basis, and maintenance of our historic memorials and memorials throughout the community and statues. Under all other supplies, this is where we budget for the paint for all of our fields, and nets for the tennis courts and basketball courts, and just other supplies for the recreation facilities. We set aside $2,800 for just maintenance of our open space. And then under capital outlay, Vinny has 2 requests for next fiscal year. He wants to purchase a new lawnmower that's the department uses, even though we have a private contractor doing the main cuts. The staff does a supplemental cut of the fields, just to make sure that they don't get too out of control, especially during the seasons where they're utilized. And then I want to replace a 4-wheel drive off-road vehicle that we use in Livingston Field to tow and bring equipment around the complex that you would not want a truck driving on the fields and driving on the roads that we have within Livingston or Frasca Field. So that's the facilities and maintenance budget. And myself, if any, can answer any questions you might have.
Okay, go around the horn again. Dave?
No specific questions on the budget. More around, do we have some kind of, and you know, Richard, this is my any kind of statistics on, you know, what is this department doing? So, you know, we've done so many something or others for these different departments, these different buildings. Just something that tells us about the volume of the work, the scope of the work. You know, we help replace so many boilers, that kind of thing. Just anything that gives you context around the work going on.
Yeah, I think Vinny and I can put something together and get it to the finance committee in the next week or so.
That'd be great.
Absolutely.
Because pretty much every department we talk to, Vinny, people are praising your group, and I just want to be able to have the context to be able to say the same thing. So, good work.
You're on mute, Vinny. So.
Anything else, Dave?
That's it. Thank you.
All right, Rich?
Yeah, I have one question for my own edification. So when we're talking fields, are we talking all the fields? All the fields on Livingston Street, the soccer fields, and all these associated type things?
Yep, it's all town fields. We don't maintain any of the school fields. The schools have their own maintenance, outdoor maintenance facilities, but we're taking care of Livingston, Frasca, any of the town common, all of the monument islands that we have in town, Wamasett Park, Muster Park. We maintain, we cut the cemetery, the historic cemetery, one of the historic cemeteries in town that we're responsible for. But yes, it's all the fields.
Okay, and so I guess I have a question around energy utilities. Are all those, is all the lighting for those LED now?
We put all new outdoor field lights in, and they are all LED. Vinny, they are LED, correct me?
They're all LEDs. All the park lighting is LED now. All the new lights were put in for all the fields are all LED. And we're going around from facility to facility now to do LED lights also. And a lot of them were replaced when we did the street lighting. So all of the property lighting is all LED also.
Okay, great. And one more question. So when we lease out these fields to I'll use the old man softball league as an example, just because that's the only league I know. Does the cost of the rent that we charge them pay for everything?
That's hard to say. I mean, all the rental fees, whether it's old man softball or any of the youth fields, go into our recreation revolving account, and we'll use it to supplement some of the electricity that we have down at the fields, especially during the summer months. We'll use it for any special maintenance projects we have on our fields. In the past, we've used it for reconstruction of baseball diamonds and baseball fields. So I would say yes, if they do. If we looked at it closely,
and I have no issue with the town related ones, but like when we rent to AAU baseball, where they're coming in from other towns.
So when we took over the field applications and recreation within the town manager's office some years back, we stopped most outside groups from using our fields. So primarily youth soccer, youth baseball, girls softball, little league, or any in-town adult leagues use our fields. We have very few outside groups using them, and if we do, it might be a Sunday morning men's soccer or women's soccer team. And then the only time you would see outside groups coming into play in town would be if girls softball holds a tournament down at Livingston Street.
But Tewksbury is participating in that.
Exactly. So we really are not using Livingston or Frasca or any of our fields for anything but town-sponsored and town leagues.
Okay. That's all I have. Well, welcome, Vinny.
Thank you.
Okay. Susan, do you have any questions for the town facilities and grounds?
No.
Jason?
No, sir. I'm good.
Okay. The only question I had for you, Benny, was getting a little feedback. Jason, maybe you can unmute. Sorry. Of all our facilities and whatnot, are there any anything in the near future that you might need major repairs or some sort of significant work? Or
we're actually looking right now to do the skate park, to redo the whole skate park over. As far as repaving, resurfacing, and bringing in some new equipment for that area. That's the next area that we're going to be working on and getting up to date, up to speed.
Like a full redesign type of thing.
Yeah, it'll be all new skate equipment. We'll grind down the old pavement, repave it, and then resurface it with skate light. That's probably in the worst shape in Livingston. Everything else down there is pretty much new now. We've done all the baseball diamonds over, a lot of new fencing. Everything down there we've done new lights, new surfaces on the basketball and tennis courts, new backboards, back rims. Everything down there is fairly new. The fitness park, that we have now. So I think the skate park really needs, some upkeep and bring it to where it should be down there.
Vinny, from a building standpoint, would you say the next buildings that we're going to need to undertake are probably the North Fire Station? Maybe some...
Maybe a small addition down there or a second floor on the North Fire.
Okay.
Their bunk area is getting pretty bad down there. Maybe to put a second floor and to put a bunk room and a new kitchen and everything in the North Station. All of our boilers and everything is fairly new now in most of our buildings. So there'll be, I think, a roof probably coming up on the library within the next probably 5 years. But other than that, I think we're in pretty good shape. We're going to be getting a new chiller for the police station this year. So, we're in really, really good shape, I think, with most of our municipal buildings.
Okay. I thought I heard something, I don't know, last year or year before about the police station roof.
That's all been redone.
Okay. Maybe that's what I was remembering.
That's brand new.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, we did that over with insurance money and town appropriation. We were able to replace I think they had a metal roof, and we put a new roof on that about 2.5 years ago.
Okay. And when would you expect, if we were to do something with the fire station on North Street, roughly 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year?
I think that's
sooner than that.
I think that's something we might want to go over with the fire chief and see what he, can come up with for a design and everything else, and kind of go in that route. See where we are with him, and see what they're really looking for, and maybe come up with a design and see what we have for money coming up.
Okay. All right, that's all I have. Thank you, Vinny.
Rob, I have one more question.
Rich.
What I used, I don't know if we still call it that, but what's the condition of the rec center at Livingston Street?
The rec center is we use it for voting, and we use it for camps in the summer. Other than that, we don't really use it a whole heck of a lot. It's something that we should, all get together on realistically and look at and try to decide what we want that to be. As of right now, it doesn't really get, as much use as it should probably. But like I said, we use it for voting in April and November. And then the school department uses it for camps in the summer from usually July and August for 2 months. And other than that, it's shut down. So I think, until we really find out and figure out what we really want to do with that space, I think it's probably better off just to kind of leave it where it is and maybe upgrade the electric panel in there. I think that needs some upgrades, some lighting. But other than that, it's functional. We just had two new furnaces put in the attic for heat. So I think for the most part, its functionality is good. We just got to really figure out what we want to do to actually maybe upgrade the inside. There was some talk of maybe making it like the police might use it in the summer and the fall to kind of police the Livingston Park. But I'm not really sure what we really want to do with that space.
So right now, given that it's February when we're not using it for anything, it's pretty much, I'll use the word mothballed. Yes.
Yep. We turn the heat down. We shut off the water and everything else, and that's more or less the way it stays through the winter.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Vinny.
Okay. So why don't we move on to computer services?
Okay.
Okay, so I'll hand this over to Jamie to work on, but again, I want to just mention his salary is another one that was upgraded when I went through the process of upgrading some of the Group 10 departments. So other than that, there really are no changes to his salary budget, but I'll let Jamie go through that.
Okay. So, as Richard mentioned, he bumped me up one step, which is greatly appreciated. Other than that, I do still have the part-time position that is currently unfilled. I had to let go of the last person, and I've had a really hard time finding anyone with this whole COVID situation. And I'm at a standpoint now where I'm going to just wait until the vaccination gets a little further down the road before I bring somebody in. I just don't like the idea of sharing the office with someone at this point until that's, at least I get vaccinated anyway. So that's where the salaries stand. I guess we want to start with the leases and contracts. That's where the biggest change is going to be this year. We're looking at upgrading our office we have a hybrid right now of Office 2010 and 2013 for everybody. And I want to move the town, including the police and fire, to Office 365 so we can get away from, we have a situation where a lot of the fire and staff that don't use email use it's called this portal email, and it's a downgraded version of email that doesn't really work well. And we have about 100 accounts on there, and then we have 70 accounts using full Exchange services through Addition Networks. Now, with this move to Office 365, we would be able to eliminate those services. So after all the number crunching and figuring everything out, I'm figuring it'll be an additional $5,000 per year to move to Office 365, which in my opinion is well worth it due to all the collaboration and everything you gain with it, Teams, and just not having to worry about licensing, Office on each desktop or laptop moving forward. So that's the big change on the leases and contracts line. Everything else is staying the same there. And that line basically consists of our email and Verizon services, which gives us the internet for every building. And there's some stuff in there for the clerk's department, virtual town hall, which is our host for our website, for each department's website. So that's about it for the leases and contracts. Do you have any questions about the Office 365, or do you want me to just continue on with the rest of the budget?
Just keep going, and then we can ask after.
Okay. The next one, PC maintenance. That's kind of self-explanatory. It's just for equipment repair. That's staying the same. That's level budgeted. Then professional services. This is what I use for consultants and anything that we need to bring in someone outside. I'm actually going to be using some of this money this year to do one of the penetration tests we keep talking about doing. I got a quote for, it was upwards of $20,000, which I really thought was, I think it's in line, but I'm going to shop it around a little bit before I commit to anything. I think we need to get 3 quotes on that if it's going to be that much money anyway. The one good thing about the grants that keep coming out of the state is they're offering a cybersecurity awareness grant for training for everyone. So we applied for that through the schools, with the schools, and I'm hopeful to get that because that will touch on the staff portion of just, securing down the network and making sure we don't get viruses and things, by malware or phishing attacks and things of that nature. The next one, all other, is just miscellaneous supplies. That stayed the same. Computer supplies, that's also staying the same. And then for computer equipment, we bumped that up, and that was due to the fact that because of the pandemic, we've had to shift a lot of the computers to laptops and docking stations. We've made a decision that, most of our positions, when they need to be mobile, that's just a better fit for most of the employees. There are still going to be a lot of desktops, but we're going to shift a lot of the employees to a laptop and docking station, and that's just adding to those costs. Software, that's staying the same. And then dues and membership is also staying the same, along with staff development. So the biggest changes are going to be the Office 365 migration, and then shifting towards the laptops increased that equipment line. Some of the other projects that we're currently working on is we're in the midst of I think Joanne talked about a little bit about that, moving the appraisal server to the cloud. So that's happening on February 9th, which is great because that's just one less server I'm going to have to support and keep, the reoccurring hardware behind that will go away. We just had a hardware failure on that cluster about a month ago, so I'm happy I don't have to keep supporting that. It's an outdated server. The Laserfish server's also been upgraded. We already bought that server, and there's a lot more storage with it, which will help keep us in compliance with the record retention laws. That's another one I'm actually currently working on. We're about to load server 2019 and get VMware on that and roll that out in the next month. And then the other big things are the grant I mentioned, the Cybersecurity Awareness Grant. And that just about covers everything for now.
All right, great. I'll go around the horn again. Dave?
Yep, thank you. Jamie, great work. I definitely applaud the Office 365. That's not just a functionality upgrade, it's also addresses security issues, because I guarantee you've got some security issues with the platform that you were talking about. I also applaud the computer equipment on a regular rotation schedule, and definitely believe you ought to be focusing on laptops versus desktops. Give the capability for people to be able to work remotely more, and that's something that is just going to be a new way of working on a regular basis. And that may be something that gives Richard the ability to save some building space for people who can work remotely most of the time. The flip side of that coin is I do highly recommend that you do that penetration test. That money sounds like a lot, but Richard, we should really find that money, because I can guarantee there are holes that are probably already being exploited that you don't know about. And believe me, that's scary. We're going through security evaluations right now that, we're finding things, and we have a lot of money that we've thrown at security. So I guarantee you've got something going on that you need to plug the hole.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I've seen attacks on the firewalls happen real time, and it's scary.
The other thing I think I would ask you to kind of think about is that I noticed you put in your narrative that you've got VPN for people who are working remotely. Do you have any kind of two-factor authentication?
We talked about implementing it. That the VPN that's currently set up, it's on the Edition Networks firewall, and that's kind of a K-12 solution. So in conjunctions with this Office 365 upgrade, it's going to give me the ability to shop that firewall around, because they offer a lot of their services based on a wraparound scheme where you save money if you're buying this service or that service. It'll help me separate from them and get a sonic wall in place or something more industry standard that we can do the two-factor authentication. This, the one good thing about this firewall is no one really knows about them. The Shark, their Edition Networks proprietary unit, that does serve its purpose, like Apple, with not being attacked. But the other side of it is they're not upgraded the firmware. There's not constant firmware upgrades and things of that nature. And the support behind it is, it stops right at their door. So it's limited, and I'm kind of looking forward to that'll be my next big thing, is to get the firewall upgraded.
No, that's really important. That's great. And, I'm hoping in that grant that you're talking about, there are other aspects of security, cybersecurity, and that you can get some money for, because this is an area that I think you're going to probably want to specialize in over the next few years. Another aspect that comes to mind, do you have any solution for secure file transfer? So I know people share information constantly, unless they're putting it on a secure file share that, theoretically is firewalled and people can't get to it. If they're emailing documents in the clear, and this document could have sensitive information on it, that's the kind of thing that you probably would want to have secure file transfer. So
that's absolutely.
I can't get out into the world and, make Tewksbury a headline.
Right. No, I agree 100%. I mean, the VPN set up with an SSL, and that's been implemented. But aside from that, no, we don't. And that's, something I hope to, secure up once we move to this Office 365. I think it's something we can implement with that, because there's going to be a lot more availability of collaboration on documents outside of, the buildings themselves. And we definitely need to look at that.
And my last comment is really kind of a roadmap item for you to think about. Getting all servers out of the town, all physical servers out, and looking to move to, say, an Amazon Web Services, be totally cloud-based on the servers. You could still manage them, but you're not managing any physical hardware on premise that you have to worry about.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I mean, being a one-person IT department, that's
exactly, yes.
It would be a giant, load off of my back, and not have to worry about just hardware failures alone, aside from the security aspect of it.
Exactly. You gain a lot in the security aspects, as well as the maintenance that you would have to do. And I'm also wondering if there are grants out there that may support that.
Yeah, I mean, if there are, I'll definitely look into it. I would be more than, happy to try to explore the cost of moving to Amazon. We did just spend a good amount on servers, and I don't want to keep doing that, because it is costly, and we could be shifting that money towards a service like that.
Exactly. So my compliments. I know you're a one-man shop, and you've really brought the town much more forward in the time that I've been here, that I've seen you here. So thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Thank you for your support.
That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Rich?
Yeah, yes, boy, it's great to be talking geek. I'll second the move to Office 365. It's a great idea. On the emails, you said we have two different types back early on. Will we be able to migrate those to Outlook?
Yeah, that's the plan with this Office 365 move. That it includes migrating all users off of the Edition Network email servers, both the Exchange server and the portal server. So we'll be moving away from both of those.
Okay, good. Second comment is I'll agree with Dave. I have a ransomware just worries the hell out of me. That's the scary thing, and there's holes in every network, and moving to Office 365 would certainly help us with that. The other comment, with us getting rid of some of the desktops, could we reuse those elsewhere, like in the library?
You know, there's definitely spots that we can, add memory and upgrade them. The ones I'm moving out right now still have Windows 7 on them.
Oh, get rid of those.
They're licensed for 10, so I can upgrade them and throw memory in them. And I was going to allocate a couple of them to like the senior center library area, and I was going to talk to the schools and see if they needed any of them. But aside from that, a lot of them are at end of life.
Yeah. I think if we can do anything with any of them, just by adding memory and getting the free Windows 10 upgrade,
Yep.
The library or the senior center or any of the schools would be, I'm sure they could put them to good use.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I won't throw out anything that I think could be useful for another department or somewhere.
Okay, that's all I have. Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
You're doing a hell of a job.
Okay, Susan, do you have any questions?
No, I just echo what Rich and Dave have said. Microsoft obviously knows what they're doing, and even though people may think it's a lot of money to spend, it's well worth it. I mean, they know what they're doing, and with so many companies now working remotely, they're gonna have the answer before we even have the question.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, Jason, do you have any questions? Jamie?
No, Jamie, thank you for all your hard work. Dave and Rich stole my thunder on a couple of my questions, so I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll just say thanks for putting that narrative together. It's highlighted all the things we've just been talking about, which is good to read and now hear about more. So thank you. I have no further questions.
Okay, I appreciate your support, and as I explore the Amazon things and moving servers offsite, I might tap into some of your knowledge if you're handling some of that stuff at your own workplaces.
Happy to anytime, Jamie.
Yeah.
All right, great. I'd appreciate it.
Okay. What do we have left here? Sorry, Richard, you're on mute there.
Next is Town Hall.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I was on mute. Yeah, Town Hall is next.
Okay.
So the Town Hall budget has just one salary. This is the maintenance person. It's really a custodian that handles the town hall annex, and DPW. Essentially cleans those three buildings and does any minor maintenance. They work under facilities. So this budget just has the normal step increase or any COLA that is decided down in the future. Energy and utilities, the $83,000 funds electricity for the town hall annex and right now the fire station. Once the new fire station comes online, we'll switch the utility cost over to the new fire station and the fire station budget. And the reason why the fire station's under this budget is because when we renovated the town hall, National Grid could only put 1 meter in for us for the three buildings because of where it was located. So we had no choice but to take it out of one budget. But that'll change with the new station. Non-energy utilities, these are all the phones. Cell phones, Verizon lines for all of the departments, with the exception of the library, the school, and the water department. And for cell phones, for everybody except the police, schools, and water departments. Repairs and maintenance, this just funds any basic repair and maintenance for the annex and the town hall. And rentals and leases cover the copier, the Pitney Bowes, our alarm monitor on a monthly basis, and an annual elevator inspection for the on an annual basis for the town hall. All other just handles all of the supplies for the buildings, and toner and paper for the for both buildings, which cover all the offices. And that's it.
Okay, we'll go around again. Dave?
No, nothing for me. Thank you.
All right, Rich?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, Susan?
Oh, thank you.
Okay, Jason?
No, sir.
Yeah, I don't have any questions either. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go on to the veterans.
Yep.
So the veterans agent, this is level funded for the most part. The salaries just have step increases for the two individuals, the veterans agent and the clerk. Plus the veterans agent has a car allowance for her travel. Under medical, this is for is level funded. This is for prescription and hospital bills, co-pays, dental, things like hearing aids for any veterans or surviving spouses or eligible dependents for a veteran. Again, this fluctuates depending on the number of requests and claims that are approved each year by veterans in town. Office supplies are just basic office supplies for the veterans agent's office. All other supplies, this is for the retrospect software license that they utilize for any of the veterans information that they put into the database. Flags, this is flags that they get for veterans graves for Memorial Day. Decorations, this is for Veterans Day, Memorial Days, and any other special events and holidays that the veterans agent has. And she has a list of things that they've purchased in the past for veterans on those particular days and events that they have. Travel, this is travel for outside of the town to go to an annual conference that the Veterans Agent Association may have. It's usually somewhere in the Fitchburg area, sometimes going to Boston. And this covers the the veterans agent and her staff. Dues and membership, this is for the Mass in New England Veterans Services offices that she belongs to. And then the bulk of this is for veterans benefits. The veterans aid, this is the stipend for lower income veterans, surviving spouses and dependents based on Chapter 115. We provide financial aid, food, shelter, housing aid, clothing, medical care, any burial expenses for veterans and their dependents. This has been holding steady over the last few years. We've actually spent under this amount, but we've kept the budget where it is because, again, we just don't know the number of veterans that may be seeking benefits or qualifying for benefits on an annual basis. And then staff development, this is just training and conferences that are all within the state. And that's it.
Okay, we'll go around again. Dave?
Yeah, just two quick ones, Richard. How are we doing on reimbursements from the state?
Actually, we're doing well. They've come through with their reimbursements when they provide us our state aid. We're usually a year behind because we have to pay out the benefits first and then we get reimbursed. But you know, from looking at state aid over the last few years, veterans benefits have been coming in.
Okay, good. And the other is, again, more in lines with some level of statistics of the services. You know, I guess number of visits, you know, who's got active cases, things like that. Anything that tells us more context about the services being provided.
Yep, I'll get you that.
Thanks. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Rich?
I'm good on this one. Thank you.
Okay, Susan?
I don't have any questions, thanks.
Jason?
No question, sir.
Okay. I was going to ask a similar question, Dave, about numbers, like how many veterans we might be helping and that sort of thing. The other one, do you expect any change due to COVID, like an increase or no impact, or how do you
I'll find out if we've seen an increase in numbers. We have had more what I would call events where we're providing a grab and go food distribution, things like that. But as far as an increase in any case numbers because of it, I don't think we've seen anything drastic, but we have been taking part in regional food banks, food distribution, meals, that, are more than we have before.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I really have no other questions. It looks like, according to the years past, enough budgeted and you'd come in line. Regular years. I'm good with this one. Is that the last one we were doing?
That's the last one, yeah.
Okay. Actually, okay, so from last week we have to redo transfer number 18, lateral transfer 18.
Correct. It was the fund that it went to was the wrong account. So I think the town accountant sent the new transfer along with the new account. Same amount of money, same issue.
Okay, let me pull that up. I have it here. Now the question is, do I have the right one? This is the one you sent me from Police Other Equipment to Police Professional Services?
Yep, that's correct.
Lateral transfer in the amount of $20,074. We sort of reviewed at least why we were doing this last time. Just the different.
Yeah, this was for the assessment center. We had a fair amount of retirements within the department, and the list for promotions ran out. So we needed to get a new civil service list. So we conducted a civil service sanctioned assessment center with the private company administering it. And this was the cost of that. Something we've done. This is, I think, since I've been here, probably the third time we've conducted one of these. The list lasts for a couple of years, so it was time for a new one.
Okay, does anybody have any questions on this transfer number 18? Not, I would look for a motion.
No, I don't have any questions.
So moved.
Dave,
Second.
approve. Rich, second. Roll call vote. Dave, how do you vote?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Susan?
Aye.
Jason?
Aye.
And then chair votes aye as well, so that's 5-0. Okay, that takes care of that business. Stop sharing now. Did I stop? No, I skipped my video. Stop sharing is that button. Okay, where are we now? Any other items, Richard, from since last Wednesday?
No, that's it.
Okay. And we went through the committee member reports last week. So there was no economic development, I'm gathering, in the last couple of days.
No, sir.
Okay. And we don't have any recording secretary timesheets or meeting minutes. Do we have anything else we should be discussing this evening?
I have a question, given the passing of our senior town council, which is very unfortunate. Short term, how's that going to impact us?
We still have town council in place, so we'll be able to, we'll just pick up any of the outstanding issues that were with senior town council.
Okay.
Anybody have anything else? Our next meeting will be next Monday. I think it's police, is that right, Richard?
Yes,
Okay. As well as some other smaller budgets.
correct.
If nobody has anything else, we'll look for a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Dave, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Susan. Roll call vote. Dave, how do you vote?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Susan?
Aye.
Jason? Chair votes aye as well. We are adjourned. We'll see you next week.
Good night, everybody. Be safe.
Have a good evening,
Careful if
everyone.
you have to.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.